It's Tuesday night, the 13th of June, 2023, and we have what could be some areas of smoke that we're going to be dealing with for the next couple of days, but doesn't look quite, at least for now, it doesn't look quite as uh, bad as it did last week. We've got some areas getting some showers and thunderstorms, and we've got some areas that are experiencing nice weather today. That includes me. All of that tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, which of course is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. Get your truck and get over to Omni to load up on all the mulch, topsoil, and sand that you need. 631, anything else, by the way, 631-756-1125 for the best prices in town. The website is
OmniTrueValue.com, and I think I will load up on much tomorrow.
Please. And our affiliate, Tempest by Weatherflow, and Father's Day coming up, they have a special discount, so you don't have to use the coupon code Joe and Joe Weather Show. You will get $40 off if you purchase a Tempest weather station. And you should use the referral code that is at the top of the chat board or on the descriptor to this video, and then you could get this system, and you will join the fastest growing weather network on the planet, Joe. Not just
normally it's 10%, but as you just said, because of Father's Day, it's actually a bit more like 16 or 17%.
That's correct. And if you buy anything else, because they have a lot of other weather gadgets and gizmos, you could get the 10% off on those items if you use the coupon code Joe and Joe Weather Show.
Yes.
So just a little side note there. Sorry, I'm just kind of running a little behind. There we go. Whoops. And there you are. And
here I am.
Now I can make myself larger. And after the steak I ate today for dinner, that is pretty easily accomplished. So anyway, just going on the smoke thing, with the way the flow is setting up, we're probably going to get some. But it didn't look like, I saw some streaks of milky white on the satellite today, but they were on the thin side. So it really didn't look like it was much of a problem today. And as far as upstream is concerned, it's dicey from day to day trying to figure out what's there and what's not there. But it doesn't look too bad in the next few days with this upper low spinning the way it is.
And actually, when you want me to put up the smoke map, we can see exactly what's cooking for the next couple of days.
All right, and while you get the map up, I just want to say good evening to everybody on the chat board and those of you watching behind the scenes in the background tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. We are on Monday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m., Sundays at 11 a.m., Fridays and Saturdays, unless there's something going on weather-wise. We usually take those 2 days off, but in the event that something were to pop up, we promise you we will be here and we will let you know. So make sure you hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel and turn your notifications on so that you'll know when we are on the air and you will never miss us. And if you like the show, it always makes Joe Rayo happy if you hit the like button. I know you're not going to. Yes, the screen is black at the moment, so I don't know what's going on.
Screen is black. Well, it says it does say at the top I'm screen sharing.
Okay, well, let's see. There you go. Okay, I just had to close out and go back in. You're on the air.
There you are. So 8 o'clock is here, and this is the Futurecast. This is from firesmoke.ca/forecast/current. And 8 o'clock this evening, you can see that we're kind of in the tri-state area in kind of a wedge of relatively clear, smoke-free air. At least that's how the projections are indicating. So do we stay that way now for the next couple of days? Well, let's move things along. This is 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11, midnight, 1, 2, 3. So by 3 a.m., we begin to see an intrusion of smoke.
Yeah, and there's a slightly browner area there moving in through north central PA and southern New York, but that looks like it's going northeastward.
Well, yeah, that's well, the area that we're moving into is like 1 to 10 parts per million. That part that you just alluded to, the somewhat darker shade of brown, is 10 to 20. But compared to what we had last week, this is nothing compared to the record-breaking smoke conditions that we had. Now, again, this is 3 o'clock in the morning. As we move on, actually, we don't stay in that. We're kind of like on the fringe of smokiness for at least the early part of the day. And then as we move into about 10 o'clock in the morning, interesting, at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we'll get into this in greater detail in a few seconds, but it looks like, Joe, we may be looking at the first wave of showers and possible convection, maybe some locally strong thunderstorms or gusty thunderstorms by late morning or midday, just as the Futurecast smoke predictor is suggesting we get into that smoky pattern, which we remain in, it looks like, through the rest of the day tomorrow into tomorrow night. Do we break out of it at all? This only goes out to like 48 hours. And no, it looks like we're going to remain in kind of a, and again, this is very light smoke coverage. Again, only about 10 parts per million as compared to last week when we were dealing with like in excess of 250 parts per million and had air quality indices up in the 300s and 400s. So this really is nothing compared to what we were dealt last week, but it's still indicating that we will have some slight smoke problems here, at least for the course of the day tomorrow into Thursday.
Okay. If you could unshare, because I lost control of my screen. Thank you. Yes, I lost control of my screen there for a moment. Let me just get us back on. Yeah. Go to this. For some reason, sometimes I have to close out your screen and then reopen it again in order to get us back on there. And this time it didn't work. Oh, this is all so strange. Let me try this. Okay, let's try this now. No, that's not what I wanted. Now, for some reason,
you turned off the lights.
Exactly. All right. You know what? I'm just going to put the maps up. Let's just go right to it because that seems to be working. And just again to go on the idea of the smoky conditions, if we look at it from the dust satellite, I find it weird that I have to call it the dust satellite, but that's what the Weather Service calls it. You could see the rotation that is over eastern Michigan and over by Toronto. That's the upper low that's going to be swinging eastward tomorrow and produce some showers and perhaps some stronger thunderstorms. In fact, SPC, Joe, has a marginal risk that they put up.
Right. Yesterday we were talking about how 3 days in advance they cover the Northeast with general thunderstorm coverage, but then as time wears on and as they take greater consideration into the pool of much cooler air in the upper atmosphere, they say, well, maybe we might even throw in a marginal for some spots. And we've even seen them go from general to marginal to even, in some cases, a slight risk of severe. And I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow, but there is that possibility locally in the tri-state area, midday and afternoon especially, that we may see a couple of locally strong or gusty thunderstorms.
Yeah, on the dust map, the light smoke area is not really showing up very much. I mean, it's not really showing. When you go up into Canada and you see some of the areas over Hudson Bay with the purplish colors and some of the darker spots that are embedded in there, that's where the real action is. So for now, we're okay. And if you see the rotation, you would tend to think that smoke would get drawn southward down into the west, into the Great Lakes first, before it spreads out to the east. But the folks in Canada on on the website is they're indicating in their forecast what they have, and I think we can respect that. Meanwhile, in the Northeast, if we give you the close-up look of the dust map, you just see a few little patches of pink here embedded. Uh, Most of it's offshore. There's a couple of patches out to the west, but again, not a whole lot happening at the moment. So we can go back to the satellite loop of the U.S., the regular plain old satellite loop, so you could see the rather impressive looking rotation of that upper low, Mr. Rayo. That's a fairly vigorous system we have up there.
Which is why it is worth mentioning that there could be some gusty storms affiliated or associated with that upper system during the day, especially in the midday and afternoon, thanks to diurnal heating tomorrow.
Two tip jar hits. Thank you, Enrique Lopez, for hitting Super Chat tonight. Hey, Smokey Joe's. Thanks always for being the best. You're very kind. Thank you for the kind words. And Trish Sparaccio hitting Super Chat tonight. Thank you, too, Trish, and hope you are doing well. We've got some storms across southern Georgia and the Florida Panhandle. Meanwhile, if you look in North Georgia, western South Carolina, western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, an absolutely spectacular day here. We had sunshine from start to finish. It was 52 this morning, and the high today here in the mountains in northeast Georgia, 72. And
Wow.
the dew points were in the 50s all day. I didn't see even how low that the dew points may have even gotten a little lower than that because it really. I went to Walmart to change my oil and have my tires rotated, and it was so refreshing. We had nice breeze because Walmart's in a place here where it's on the top of a hill and there's nothing around it. So the wind, there's no other buildings. It's just Walmart. So the wind is free and clear to do whatever it likes, and it was just such a nice, pleasant breeze, gorgeous day. Some storms in East Texas tonight. Much of the severe weather tonight is going to be occurring across the southern half of the U.S. We've got some scattered thunderstorms up the Rockies and into the interior west, but nothing crazy going on from that standpoint at the moment. Here's the latest radar view, and in western PA, and you can already see on the radar, Joe, on the signature that of that swirl. I mean, it just shows up beautifully on the radar, and there's a band of showers now in western New York and western Pennsylvania, probably a few heavier downpours there. Also across the southern half of Ohio, back through Indiana, back to Chicago, and points northwest from there in Wisconsin. A few scattered showers up in Maine. In the southeast, we've got a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment on the Florida Panhandle, also in South Georgia, right along the Florida border. A little small severe thunderstorm warning northwest of Jacksonville that comes and goes and comes back again, and some special marine warnings as well. Also some action down in southeast Florida with some showers and thunderstorms, mostly in the interior. Then to the west in northern Louisiana, northeast Texas, we've got a handful of showers, severe thunderstorm warnings there, with some heavier thunderstorms rolling through. And just it's like somebody took a paintbrush and just sort of, flung it toward us, you know, toward the map there. You've got patches of showers and some thunderstorms throughout the Rockies and into the western U.S., into Nevada and over the Sierra Nevadas in California. And that's just about it. So the Storm Prediction Center, as we take a look at the latest from the Storm Prediction Center tonight, we've got a 2% tornado risk in an east-west band across East Texas to the Florida Panhandle and southwest Georgia. A lot of those storms are playing through as we speak, and that's part of a large area of slight risk and a small area of enhanced risk in central Texas around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Also, an area of general thunderstorms in that area that's moving through Indiana, Ohio, western PA, western New York, and eastern Michigan. And that is for today. Now, let's look at tomorrow. Because this is when we're going to get that upper low to swing east. And there you have it. They stuck in a small area of marginal risk, northern New Jersey, The Hudson Valley going up to about the Massachusetts-Vermont line, much of Massachusetts, all of Connecticut, and a good chunk of the state of Rhode Island, and including Long Island in that. And we have risk tomorrow, slight and enhanced risk from the central Gulf states to the southeast coast. And that comes with a 5% tornado risk tomorrow across Mississippi, central Mississippi, the southern half of Alabama, and southwest Georgia. 2% tornado risk, almost but not quite to me. And when we look at Thursday into Friday, we have two areas of marginal risk, the central and eastern Gulf Coast, including the Florida Panhandle and northeast Florida. Marginal risk in Kansas, northern Oklahoma, southern, much of Nebraska and eastern Colorado. Some general thunderstorms up the Appalachians and in the interior northeast on Thursday, but not along the coastal plain. And then we have another upper trough to deal with on Friday, which I think could set off some showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two.
Yeah, again by especially later in the day on Friday. So we're not done with this. I think the nicest day we're going to see this week locally in the tri-state area will be Thursday. Thursday looks like a day of mostly sunny skies, 70s to near 80, northwest winds or west northwesterly winds, and then I think, and I hope I'm wrong on this, but I think, as you just mentioned, Joe, Friday, an increasing threat of late day showers. Saturday, again, an increasing risk of maybe some showers or maybe even a thunderstorm late in the day. Father's Day Sunday starts sunny, probably goes cloudy. And I think that day, too, may see a late day round of shower activity. So, of all the days coming up, the nicest, I think, of those days will be, as I said, Thursday.
Yeah, the upper trough gets hung up on Friday into Saturday,
Right.
and that causes a problem. So, rainfall amounts of 3/4 of an inch to a few areas of an inch and a half showing up in the mid-Atlantic states and through the Northeast. And then, of course, you go into the South Atlantic states and back into the Gulf states, and we've got this large area of 5 to 7 inches of rain being indicated for east central Alabama into the southern half of Georgia, south of Atlanta. I'm in the darker. I'm kind of close to the red, the first, the darker red and the, I don't know, like call it a lighter red. So that's 2.5 to 3 inches, maybe four, up in the northern part of Georgia, northern Alabama, northern Mississippi. So again, with this weather pattern the way it is, with that southern jet stream just sort of sending ripples along, especially this time of year, this is something that will cause areas of rain to develop and move through, and some heavier thunderstorms. And as we said, SPC at least had that, part of the equation figured out. So why don't we let's do a little upper air, shall we?
Surely.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to leave it on the close up because I think that makes sense. So let's look at what's happening here in the east, because this is the why is it in mid-June instead of February type pattern with this wrapped up. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 contours closed. 6. I mean, this is the time of year when you see them, you got one contour closed, maybe you have two. Okay, but 6? Please. And this is a very, very cold pool of air aloft, and you see the upper low just swings. It actually goes negative tilt here tomorrow afternoon. Look at that. It just kind of swings around. So you wonder whether there might be a fairly robust outbreak of some scattered heavier thunderstorms with this. And then the upper low adventures up into Maine, and lo and behold, as soon as that goes out, there's another short wave that is dropping into Michigan. So you've got, just to illustrate it, so you got this upper low, and now you got this thing that's coming around, and this sort of almost a bowl in terms of the flow here in the eastern part of the United States. And you also see the southern half of the jet that runs through the south. This jet stream, the westerlies are all the way down to southern Florida in mid-June.
It's
I mean,
ridiculous.
it is. Well, it's not unusual to have westerly winds down to Florida in June, but to have it with the magnitude that we're seeing here, I mean, sometimes you'll just have sort of a light flow
Right.
across the U.S. But no, this is a very, very robust low in the upper atmosphere, and the second low cuts off as well and swings in right behind it. I mean, this is, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, it goes into western New York Friday morning, northeast PA Friday afternoon, and then the upper trough is right along the coast, and there's yet another upper low that drops down from western Quebec into western New York and comes right overhead on Saturday, which is why we have to include the possibility of some showers or a thunderstorm, maybe even on Saturday, even for Saturday.
Right.
And then and Joe, even on Sunday, there's yet another spoke that comes around, but it's a weaker spoke that comes down on Sunday that goes through. I don't know that the models were picking up on anything in terms of precip, but it didn't seem to. But you did say that starts out sunny and then goes cloudy. That makes sense.
Right.
Then that pulls out. Meanwhile, there's also another upper low that comes out from Nebraska. You see it there dropping into Kentucky, Tennessee, and into the southeast early next week. So that's going to be fun for me and for the folks in the southeast U.S. With enhancing rain chances here. And going forward, looks like the bottom of that trough next week just shears off and cuts off in Virginia, North Carolina, and that doesn't look especially lovely if that's the case with something like that happening. We'll have to see what it does on the surface, and then look upstream in Kansas. What do you see? I'm sorry, in the Dakotas, there's another strong upper low there. Does it? No, it comes east. And of course, by the way, it picks up some sort of system that comes out of the Caribbean and moves it up the eastern seaboard. So my curiosity is now getting to me. We need to look at this at the surface and see what it's got.
And what do we have, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, let's take a look. All right. I'll use the GFS radar presentation. So this is what it looks like tonight. And you see with that upper low doing what it's doing, you get these showers and thunderstorms, surface low going by across southern New York. If we had any kind of real warm sector tomorrow, it probably would wind up with not only severe weather, but maybe even tornado risk with this. Then that goes out to the northeast. There's rain that moves across the south, and that moves out. Then Thursday, as Joe said, probably the best day of the week because we'll be in between systems. And then Friday, here comes the next mess with the next upper low. And you see the showers and thunderstorms that it produces Friday afternoon in New England, down into Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Long Island. And then that low just kind of sits there off the New England coast. This is Saturday evening. Although this run did not really produce very much. Most of it is to the north with regards to showers and possible thunderstorms, probably because the upper low tracks a little further north this time around. But then yeah, you know what, Joe? If it rotates another arm, it's got showers scattered around even Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
Wouldn't be a shocker.
Looks like Dad's not going to. I forgot. I believe what Mother's Day was. We had a beautiful Mother's Day, right?
Right.
So it's
right. Everybody was predicting, rain for that weekend, and it turned out it was fine.
Right.
Certainly Mother's Day was fine. I don't remember the day before. And then we go into next week, where we start to set up. The next high goes up into Quebec and the St. Lawrence Valley. So there's a bit of an onshore flow that develops on Monday. But it doesn't seem to be bringing much in the way of precip. But it does drop a low off the southeast coast, and then it turns it northward around midweek and brings heavy rain up the coast as the upper low lifts up to the west. So that's something to think about, not from a tropical standpoint, but from just a standpoint that if that happens, that could mean maybe a soaking rain for the middle of next week. And yeah, there's your tropical system that comes out of the Caribbean and off the North Carolina coast. I guess we're gonna have to get used to the fact that these models are going to be spinning things up on a regular basis.
Eventually, as we say, a broken clock is going to eventually be right.
The
And I mean,
broken clocks are right twice a day, except military clocks. They're only right once a day.
but eventually we are going to see something, I guess, come out of the tropics and have an adverse influence on somebody in the eastern United States. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
let's see what the European did. Let's take a look. Uh, Not that if the European's not showing it, then it's not worth paying attention to. All right, so the European's pretty much same target for for tomorrow, with this upper low and some showers and storms. It's got nothing on Thursday, then it's back to showers and storms on Friday. There's not a whole lot of difference between the two models. Still lingering some showers around and thunderstorms on Saturday, and let's see if it does anything for Sunday. Yeah, it's got some scattered stuff in the afternoon, mostly inland, but it is there. And then next week, tries to do the same thing with the high going into eastern Canada. It's got a low in North Georgia that sits there, and an arm rotates around, so that by later in the week we get some rain moving up the coast. It has a similar idea to the GFS without the tropical nonsense.
Uh, so, as I said just a few moments ago, for those of you who are watching in the immediate New York tri-state area, the nicest day out of the next, 4 or 5 coming up is probably going to be Thursday. A dry day, a fine day. Get out and enjoy it. I plan to do the lawn on Thursday because after that, again, because of the upper level, disturbances that will be passing on through, chance for some afternoon or evening showers, maybe a thunderstorm on Friday, possible chiefly afternoon showers, maybe a thunderstorm on Saturday, Father's Day, Sunday, could be some late day showers. What else? Can I keep going here? Monday, Joe, I think there might be some showers around again later in the day.
Some signs of ridging, by the way. The last day on today's GFS is Thursday, Thursday, June 29th. And signs by then, I mean, you still have troughs that want to come into the east, but then on the last couple of frames, you get the last one goes out, and you get a little bit of ridging that develops off the southeast coast. It kind of pushes up into upstate New York, but who knows with that? I mean, these patterns when they're like this, and whenever you go down in the long range loves to break these types of patterns down, and then in reality comes along and says, no, it's going to last longer than you think, and that's pretty much where we've been since the beginning of the month. I mean, it's just going to go, the beginning of the month it showed that it was going to all break down around the middle of the month. Well, obviously that's not happening. So now we've pushed the breakdown to the end of the month. So
I forgot also that this is a 3-day holiday coming up.
yes, we have it's a holiday weekend. Monday is Juneteenth Day.
Monday is Juneteenth, and we want to be democratic about it. So there's your chance for showers sometime during the day, Saturday, Father's Day, Sunday, and Juneteenth on Mondays. What else could we do?
I know. So you know what?
You had a perfect Memorial Day weekend. So now maybe you have to pay the price with. Although, again, I shouldn't even say that because we are in a bit of a drought. The abnormally dry conditions around much of the tri-state area, and especially west of here toward Pennsylvania. So we do need the moisture, but unfortunately, the moisture is going to come probably during the upcoming weekend.
Joe, do me a favor if you would.
Yes.
Just open up your sharing and then unshare it.
Open up my sharing.
Yeah, open up your sharing and then unshare it. I'm trying to see why I cannot get us back on the screen.
Open up my sharing, which I'm doing.
Okay.
And now I'm going to unshare, right?
Right, now unshare.
Stop share.
Okay.
Did that work?
I saw the sharing window, but then for some reason it's not bringing us back full screen. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to put up. We'll just talk over something. So let's put up the U.S. satellite loop. I'll put that up on the screen, and then we'll do Briller Jeopardy. Okay.
I believe I have a question, don't I? Or
You do. You have the questions tonight for Briller Jeopardy.
yes. Let me know when you want me to.
I apologize, folks, for the technical difficulties. I have no idea why that's happening. So, but it is what it is. Okay, go for it.
Driller Jeopardy. Let me get that Driller Jeopardy up. Yes. Hang on for one moment here, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
And
the captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
yeah. This is from Scott Briller's Briller Jeopardy. On this edition of Briller Jeopardy, we're going to cover the average low temperature in 5 different cities. And Joe, just to make things a little complex here, for the month of June now, these are the average low temperatures in June for 5 cities. The first one out of the box is not even on the continent. It is Honolulu.
Honolulu. 71.
No, that's a good guess. Not right, but it's a good guess.
Okay, I'm not going to do the yodeling tonight.
No.
71. So, Helen Bertona says 68. Steve LaPointe says 69. Anthony Sparacchio says 75. Trish says 75. Frank Scalera 68. Maggie P 76. Adam Lowe 69. Christinapedia 78. Sammy Presley 65. James Davison 72. 80's too high. Frank Riccio 69. Carol DeCara 68. Has anybody gotten it yet?
Nobody has gotten it. That's interesting. Usually I have at least one person who gets it.
Well, no one has said either 71 or 70. I don't know. What did I say? 71?
71.
Right. All
and
right.
that wasn't such a. And here's the hint, folks. Joe's 71 wasn't such a bad guess.
All right. So that means it's 70 or 70. Or James Davison said 72.
Adam Lowe got it. 74.
74. Okay. 74. All right. So I would have gotten it. I 3 steps. 3 stones up the mountain.
And now, here comes another H city, Houston, Texas.
I'm going to say 74.
Ooh.
Okay, so that means that
Christopedia got it. Christopedia, Bobby Whitaker, 92. The average low temperature.
Average low, Bobby.
But Christopedia got it, 75.
Oh, okay, so now I'm up to 4 steps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, here is, I thought we did this city already. Well, maybe we did it for a high temperature, but not a low. Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Now that's tricky because that's one of those places where it can get cool at night and go to 100 during the day. So I will say 67.
Woo!
Is that because I was close?
No.
Oh, way off?
Yeah, I would have to say, Joe, that you were not exactly close.
Okay. Well,
however, William Huber hit it right on the nose.
With what?
76.
76. So I missed it by 9 steps. Okay, so now 3, 9, 3, 12, 13. So I've got 12 steps left.
Remember, last night you got it with 1 step to go, right?
You did, yes. You had only 1 step left, and you did, yes.
All right. Well, I don't want you to fall over the cliff, Joe, but I am going to provide you with a left coast city now, Los Angeles. That's funny. I hear people say Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But I also have heard people call it Los Angeles. I don't know what's
Los Angeles.
or Los Angeles.
61.
Boom, Joe. Right smack on the nose right out of the box.
Oh, good. 61 for Los Angeles. All right, very good. And now the last one.
And Sammy Presley, I'm sorry, I did not see. Sammy Presley says, I was the one, I guess, for Las Vegas who first said 76. So
And
I
Patrick
apologize.
Darcy also said 61 for Los Angeles. All right, so
Yes.
I got 12 steps and one city to go.
This should be easy for you because you're a native of New York City, Central Park. Although I know you've never slept at Central Park overnight, Joe, but
I was hoping you would not go there. Well, I have 12. I have room for an error here, so I'll say 60. I'll say 60. Wait, hold on a second. I'll say 63.
well, first of all, it's within 1 degree. A number of people on the chat board, however, hit it right on the nose. Adam Lowe, for example, 64. No, not Steve LaPointe. Sorry about that, Steve. Trex JFF, 64. And Maggie P, 64.
Okay.
So
I had 12 steps to spare.
Right.
I didn't come.
So like you,
I didn't come close
like
to
you
going
go
over the cliff.
Right.
In case you weren't watching last night, what we're referring to is the game on The Price is Right, where the Swiss mountain climber goes up the mountain and they play that song in the background, which Joe was kind enough to play yesterday. And you have 25 steps in the game, or $25 that you can't miss the prices on whatever the items are. And if you don't fall off the cliff, you win, whatever the big prize is. So there.
And there you go.
All right. So
Were you waiting for the song?
no, well, I wouldn't have objected if you put it on, but we didn't get in trouble for it last night, so anyway.
Was that my cue?
No, you don't have to do it again. We'll save it for another time. I just wanted to check one more time if we could bring us both up full screen, but can't do it tonight. So, all right, that wraps up tonight's adventure here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. Thanks very much for all of you for being here, and of course, the Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by Tempest by WeatherFlow. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system. Join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. Makes a great Father's Day gift. And if you purchase one between now and Saturday, you don't need the coupon code Joe and Joe Weather Show. Just use the referral link at the top of the chat board, and you will get, instead of getting 10% off, which is $32.99 off, you will get $40 off on your purchase. So again, use the referral link, and we thank you for doing that. And also brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 is the phone number. The website is
OmniTrueValue.com. Can you hear my dog in the background?
No, I don't hear him.
Barking? Oh, that's good. Okay.
All right. Okay, folks.
Barking like crazy upstairs, so something must be happening.
We've had 2 super chat hits.
That's right. We had Enrique Lopez and Trish Sparaccio. As always, thank you so much for hitting the tip jar for us tonight.
We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Good night.
Good night.